And we're ready to go again. Welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Monday, January 25th. I'm your host for today's program, Paul Demain. Many of the stories read here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com. Here are the news stories for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. 2 Oklahoma-based tribes are asking a federal judge to prevent civil lawsuits against Indian casinos from going to state courts. The Choctaw and the Chickasaw nations claim their gaming compacts with Oklahoma don't allow state courts to have jurisdiction over casino-related lawsuits. The tribes say an arbitrator has decided that such lawsuits must be heard in tribal courts. The Oklahoma Supreme Court in June ruled that 2 lawsuits over injuries at Indian casinos could be heard in state courts. Governor David Paterson is again positioning New York State to begin collecting taxes on cigarettes sold on Indian reservations, revisiting a budget issue perennially overshadowed by emotions. The governor said during January he would order his tax department to draft regulations to enforce a 2008 law intended to stop wholesalers from selling untaxed cigarettes to tribes. That would force Indian tribes who currently don't charge the state's $2.75 per pack excise tax and 4% sales tax to pay more to suppliers up front and ultimately raise the prices of cigarettes. Patterson said it is a matter of fairness to non-Indian stores who do not charge the taxes, especially now that he has proposed raising the excise tax to $3.75 per pack in the fiscal year beginning April 1st. NYACS President James Calvin said research shows that about half of all cigarettes smoked in the state of New York are bought tax-free. In the meantime, Patterson said he would continue to negotiate with the state's tribal leaders toward a peaceful tax collection plan. 2 previous efforts to tax reservation sales in 1992 and 1997 resulted in members of the Seneca tribe of western New York to blockade state highways, setting fires and clashing with state troopers. The tribe that operates Foxwoods Resort Casino says it has reached a preliminary deal with most of its senior lenders to extend its curtain forbearance agreement until the end of April. The Mashantucket Pequot tribal nation says that the agreement was originally set to expire last week. Such deals occur when a creditor gives up the right to immediate repayment of a loan by a debtor under certain conditions. The tribe has been seeking to restructure billions of dollars in debt after its casino business was hit hard by the economic downturn and increased competition. The tribe says its efforts are separate and distinct from operations at Foxwoods, and it will not affect customers, employees, suppliers, or business partners. The tribe expects to finalize and execute a new deal shortly. During January, President Barack Obama announced his intent to nominate the following individuals to key administrative posts: Joanne Lynn Balzer, nominee for a member of the Board of Trustees of the Institute of American Indian and Alaska Native Culture and Arts Development. Joanne Lynn Balzer is a community leader and arts advocate who helped fund the Institute of American Indian Arts Museum, the Institute of American Indian Arts Foundation, the Museum of Spanish Colonial Arts, the Code of the West Foundation, and the Center for Cowboy Ethics and Leadership in Santa Fe, New Mexico. In addition to her educational experience teaching mathematics at Pepperdine University and the Pennsylvania State University, she has 25 years of technology and business expertise with IBM. Balzer is a magna cum laude graduate at Westminster College, where she earned a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics with a minor in education and holds a Master of Science in Mathematics from Carnegie Mellon University. The second individual nominated is Cynthia Chavez Lamar, nominee for a member on the Board of Trustees of the Institute of American Indian and Alaska Native Culture and Arts Development. Dr. Cynthia Chavez Lamar, who is San Felipe Pueblo, Hopi, Tiwa, and Navajo, is a director of the Indian Arts Research Center at the School for Advanced Research in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where she works to foster collaborative relationships and projects among Native peoples, organizations, and institutions. She is the former museum director of the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and the former associate curator of the Smithsonian's National Museum of the American Indian in Washington, D.C. She holds a PhD in American Studies from the University of New Mexico, a BA from Colorado College, and an MA in American Indian Studies from the University of California, Los Angeles. In 2008, Dr. Chavez Lamar received an honorary doctorate from Colorado College. A Colorado lawmaker who suggested changing a waiver to Fort Lewis University has insisted that her measure would never have hurt American Indian students. But Democratic Representative Karen Middleton of Aurora sponsored a bill to cut $1.8 million from the college's budget based on reducing reimbursement for out-of-state tuition for Native American students. Under her bill, students would still have been able to attend free, but college officials argued that they would have to cut staff and courses, providing less of an education. She said she's going to pull that bill today. Middleton said all colleges and universities are being affected by the budget cuts as the state tries to cope with projected $1 billion shortfall, but she said the cuts directed at Fort Lewis College were unique and required a policy change. This was never about hurting Native American students, she said. The state tuition waiver began in 1911 as a condition for accepting thousands of acres of land in Hesperus in southwest Colorado. In exchange for land, the federal government and state lawmakers agreed to provide a free education for all Native American students. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank all you for joining with us. Come join with us again soon. Miigwech.